Hello everyone, this is Mariels here, and I want to welcome you to my video blog today. And the purpose of this, my intention is primarily to empower, to inspire, and to encourage women, young and old, who are looking to reinvent themselves, but they don't know how. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be featuring women who wow. And I will also have a theme for every month. So today, for this month, my theme is vision and dream. And I'm actually very excited to welcome an old friend of mine, Mariels A Winhoffer, to give you a brief synopsis of Mariels. She is a wonderful, devoted mother, wonderful wife to her husband, Ernest, and devoted mother to 4 amazing children, and has also been very successful in her field. She has successfully and continuously worked for IBM, which is an industry leader in business class technology, and for the last 26 years has actually really successfully moved up in rank. And she is, or was, the first female to hold the highest position in the Philippines office as the president and general manager of IBM. And she has since been appointed as the vice president of IBM Global Business Partners for Asia and the Pacific region. Hi, Mariels.
Hi, May. Thank you so much. It's good to see you again after all these years.
I know, right? Well, let's start. So when did you realize that you wanted to work for IBM?
Actually, when I had actually gone through my education in New York City, Fordham University, I had a double major, which was finance and computer science. And, it was one of those things where IBM was probably one of those companies that stood alone, very much a leader in the industry. And, during that time, which was in the early 80s, they were definitely the leaders in this industry. And it was very early in my career that I had a lot of options, but wanted to start with a company that was well positioned and well recognized in the world.
And what steps did you take to make that goal or dream of yours happen?
You know what's interesting, May? It's I think like all Filipinos, during our age anyway, it was almost like, you go to school, then you go to college, and then you go to work.
Right.
So I would say that really it was something that, was a dream come true for me to first go to a university that I had applied for, and then be in an intern program with IBM, and for them to proactively ask me to be on board permanently. So it was just a natural progression. It wasn't, one of those elements that it would be great to continue working for this company, but it kind of lent itself through the process during the 6 months I was with them in the intern. So that was kind of one of those great moments for me that I embarked on a really phenomenal company, and they wanted me to stay on board. And in fact, you had mentioned 26. I celebrated my 30 years.
Oh goodness. Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah, and 31 this July. So I'm one of the veterans now. I used to be the young, up and coming, leaders, and now I'm really delighted to be one of those that are enabling and coaching, up and coming leaders. And it's not predominantly women, or it's not predominantly based on diversity, right?
That's wonderful. Now, how did it feel to get that dream you set your sights on from where you're at now? How does it feel now that where you're at and what you've achieved?
Well, actually, what's really interesting from the different roles I've had, and I had many, many roles in IBM, from being in finance and administration, operations, services, several sales leadership roles and executive roles. It's always being essential to whoever you're serving, whether it's a partner, whether it's a customer, whether it's a business unit. And being relevant is very important. So, one of the most important thing that the young ones today, with all the changes that are happening and what technology provides, it really becomes tougher to stay in the game, right? And during that time, I remembered, it was a matter of being, intimate with your customers. So for me, the most important accomplishment I had, even in the early stages, is when I'm able to really co-create with my customers, co-create with my partners, and have them recognize that IBM is not there to sell to them, but IBM is there to make them ultimately successful in the market and industry they're actually competing in. But I think the most amazing and I think the most privileged time I had was when I was assigned, and I'm still here in the Philippines, I'm based here, but when I was assigned here in the country. And it really had me recognize that if I'm able to understand the goal of the country as a nation and align what IBM can do for the country, it's a natural progression. And I think my focus in the 3 years I was here was all around building eminence around the context of skills. And many of that really had to do with revitalizing education in the world of analytics. I also spent a lot of time with my team to really have a voice with a purpose, right? I think as Filipinos, we tend to be really, really good soldiers, and we tend to, be very shy in terms of our thinking because we never want to challenge authority. But what I share with all of them is everyone has a voice, and if you don't speak, then you tend not to matter. People don't hear you, people don't see you. So the most important thing is really to get that particular context, a point of view. Everyone has to have a point of view, whether it's popular or not, stand tall, and really, if there's an issue, have a solution for it. Don't just be whining about a problem. So I think my evolution, 30 years in the company, I've seen my whole commitment to becoming a single performer, to becoming a good manager and enabling my people, to now having a country that is a critical part of an economy or a nation. And IBM's been here in the Philippines for almost 79 years.
Wow.
And we've transformed our role here. And, to some degree, some of them have said, you used to be this, now you're this.
Yeah.
And we kind of reinvented ourselves and rebranded IBM in the country.
That's amazing. Now, do you feel that your passion for the job has increased or decreased over time?
Oh, it becomes more and more. I think when you feel as an individual that you are driving a broader purpose, the outcome is just, something that no one can ever replace or can ever replicate. When you actually look back and say, IBM through my leadership was able to, build a whole curriculum here for analytics.
That's great.
For me, that's like more and more that I want to do for the country on behalf of what IBM needs to also accomplish, because we need to make money as well, right?
Right.
But it's not about just making the money. It's really in alignment with the purpose, right?
Right.
That's the most important thing.
Now, how do you deal with frustration or setbacks? Because
I would say just like any human being, we deal with it differently. I think with any personal experience and any professional experience, there'll always be bumps in the road.
Yeah.
And I think if you're focused on a very genuine intention, there will always be derailments. And those derailments actually give you an opportunity to take a different point of view and be stronger along the way. And I know that kind of seems fluffy, but I've had several setbacks. But it actually made me stronger. And what I did a lot was take a step back, really talk to people that I trust. I had probably my secret weapon is the fact that I had the most phenomenal husband, and I still do. Very, very supportive in what I want to do. And he really believes in me. I have kids that are, extremely supportive with all the things I've gone through. And
so you had a very strong support system.
Very, very.
Yeah. Can you just give me, say, a setback that you encountered and how you dealt with it?
Yeah, I think, there's setbacks. When you really see something so obvious, you see something that you need to get everyone in alignment in going after that agenda, and they don't quite see it. You know, every individual ends up having their own personal agenda, and sometimes when with your peers, there tends to be that becoming the priority and failing the broader picture, because in their mind it wasn't their idea. So the biggest setback would be something that you were trying to, you know, strategically operationalize, and somehow one of the stakeholders ends up seeing it differently and finding his own network kind of go and derail it and look the other way. You know, those kinds of things, how do you balance them? And if you don't have the right support system, if you don't love what you do, and you don't have the vision that gets everybody walking the same, you know, stride that you're in, it becomes very difficult. So 31 years, so I can count, you know, the good and the bad, and because of the bad or some of the challenges I've had, I am where I am. You know, I never in my whole life, May said, I want to be the president of IBM Philippines. I want to be. And I think that has to do with our culture being Filipinos, right, as well, that we're not too pushy around, you know, around career path, especially women. Yes. And it just so happened I ended up coming across wonderful champions within IBM that took me under their wing and felt I could do much more. So, you know, I'm blessed, and it's my turn to give back.
Awesome. Finally, what advice, Mariels, would you give to young women and older women who also either want to reinvent themselves or pursue their passion, and, you know, they want to accomplish their dream or vision? What advice would you give them?
You know, I think there are three things. I think, one, be true to yourself. You know, don't ever let that go, because that will be the core of everything that you do. Second, I think it's very important that, you know, you establish the right network of people that can facilitate your vision. So I did mention being true to yourself, having a point of view, which is that vision that you want your folks, your support system, whether it's your support system or stakeholders, to be part of that, you know, part of that journey. And those three things, I think, you know, will be at the core of every individual, and strengthening that. Everything else, I can tell you, and I'm just going to share this. I have phenomenal performers in my business. Phenomenal. They kill their numbers. You know, the metrics that measure their performance, they overachieve. And I said, okay, but there are others in the world. We're 400,000 plus IBMers that do just that. And what I always say is, what differentiates yourself? Right? That is not quote unquote measured. So it's all these things about, you know, when you're true to yourself, you understand your capabilities. And you're able to take that as your foundation to expand that makes you unique from others, right? And having that point of view. So that point of view kind of, you know, is your catalyst, your foundation to say, okay, this is what I want to get done in terms of my vision for my role, my vision for my customer, my vision for the country I'm running. And then pretty much understand, you know, where the other folks are coming from, right? The important stakeholders that will make you successful. Because even how phenomenal you are as an individual, you will not succeed if you don't build your ecosystem, whether it's ecosystem of colleagues, ecosystem of phenomenal performers working for you. And, you know, as we said, we can't get things done alone because it won't scale, right? So I think I would leave that, you know, in terms of everybody's own interpretation, but never ever, for me, you know, be always that genuine, authentic leader in person, you know, comes number one.
That's great. So the big takeaway I got from you is to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Make that your core. So in that, I know you're really busy, so I really thank you for this time, and I really appreciate you, and I know this will serve as an inspiration to the women that I will share this with. So thank you very much, Mariels, and you have a great morning, because I know it's daytime there. All
Thank
right.
you. Have
Take
a
care.
great one.
You too.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.